Hi, my name is Titus Fortner. In my last video, I talked about the importance of atomic and short tests. I also mentioned that it is difficult to create these kinds of tests without them also being autonomous. In this video, I'm going to describe how to make your tests sufficiently independent with effective test data management. Essentially, there are 4 different approaches to test data management. The first is what I like to refer to as grab and hope. This is a frequently deployed approach where a test needs an object where the specifics don't matter, perhaps a product to add to the cart, so it locates the first one it finds and uses it, and you just have to hope that it is in the state you need it to be in. This works great until, and this has happened to me, your tests run frequently enough that the back end runs out of stock and your tests all of a sudden start failing. Also, if one test just grabs something to edit and another test just grabs the same thing to delete, only one of those tests is going to pass. The second option is a static reference. This is the traditional QA staging or testing environment that has a bunch of pre-populated data, and your tests have identified specific users and specific objects and have associated them with specific tests. Use this user for these 100 tests, that test always uses this object, that other test uses this other user with that other object. The defining characteristic here is that each piece of data is hard-coded in your testing code, often in spreadsheets, though not always. Obviously, this is difficult to maintain, and something as small as run all these tests but with a user that has this other configuration becomes extremely difficult to manage. Also, and this has happened to me, it is a very bad day when you come into work and find out that someone deleted the staging environment database and you have to recreate all of the objects you're using in your tests from scratch. The third option is a dynamic fixture. This is what developers are used to using for unit tests with SQL code that populates a testing database immediately before the test suite is run. This prevents the problem of someone deleting your test data, but it has the disadvantage of still needing to maintain a one-to-one relationship between tests and the data they are going to use. The fourth and preferred option is what I call just-in-time. The idea behind just-in-time is that the only way to truly ensure autonomous usage of test data is for each test to have complete control over all of the data it uses by creating it when it is needed. That means each test creates and authenticates a brand new user, and each test creates any data it needs to manipulate to evaluate the specific functionality it is responsible for. The obvious concern here is that this will increase the overall test time if each test has to also set up its own data, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to do here in this series. Remember, though, that you can't have a successful strategy of atomic and short tests without those tests also being autonomous. This is the only way to reliably increase parallelization, which will more than make up for any increased overhead of setting up data at the start of a test.